And Merry Christmas to all of you, all of us here at Daybreak Live, 14 minutes before the hour. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to the man himself, Adam Fossett, the head football coach and athletic director at BB Comer. Coach, good morning. Merry Christmas to you.
Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Been a busy week, hasn't it?
It has been a very busy week. So reclassification and signing day, and man, it's nonstop.
Let's talk about signing day yesterday. What went down yesterday at BB Comer?
Yeah, Kamor Harris signed with Memphis yesterday. Went ahead and he had committed to Memphis months ago, but signed with Memphis yesterday and had a big to-do at the school for him in the auditorium, and family was there, and former players and current players and things like that. So just excited for him, excited to see what the future holds for him. I think, next level is a different creature altogether. Yeah. But I think once he gets there and gets used to the speed of the game, because the speed of the game is very different at that level. But once he gets used to the speed of the game, I think he'll find a way in and work his way into hopefully special teams, and then work his way into a role on one side of the ball or the other.
We had the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game last Saturday, and he touched the ball, I think, one time. But he played H-back and was a blocking back. Did some pretty good blocking, but I was hoping he'd get the ball some.
Yeah, we were too, and he was as well. He was a little frustrated after that game just for the lack of carries, and I understand why.
A lot of talent on that team.
Right, there was a lot of talent on the team, but you're looking at a guy. I felt like just based on the roster and based on what he's done and his body of work, he should have gotten more carries. Yeah. I mean, he should have had an opportunity to carry the ball and show his abilities, or even play on the defensive side of the ball. So, it was
played no defense, right?
Right, no defense at all, and they told him that once he got down there, we're just going to play you on offense and special teams, and but it was a great experience for him. It was a great opportunity for him, but I was a little disheartened to see that he did not get as many carries as he could have, or even an opportunity to play on the defensive side of the ball. So, one of those things where there was one 1A player that was from Lochapoka and one 2A player from our place, from Comer, and everybody else was 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 7A. So hate it for him, and hate they didn't get those carries, but it was a great opportunity for him. He met a ton of people and said he had a great time with those guys, and most of those guys on that team were already committed and going to other places. So definitely a great experience, definitely a great opportunity for him, and building those relationships that you'll take on with forever. So
it's not common that a 2A player play in the Alabama and Mississippi All-Star game either.
Right. Yeah, it's not very common at all, and the way that works is you make your nominations, and then they have a meeting about it, and it goes from you to the district. And then your district representative presents it to the coaching staff of the team, and they figure out what they need and stuff like that. So it is a long, thought-out process. So it's an honor for him. It's a great, it's a great thing for him, but it's also a great thing for our program and for our school to be on that roster. And you look at Kamor's career, and I wish I'd wrote down all the stats, but he has over 5,000 yards rushing in his career.
Pretty amazing, I'll tell you.
73 touchdowns. So, and then defensively, he has like 350-something tackles and stuff like that. So, his 4-year career, man, he has done everything he can to make himself marketable and put himself in a situation to play at Memphis, and to help this program and to put this program on the map. So. With him and those other guys in his class, the Chris Wilsons and the Devin Harveys of the world.
Where do we stand with them?
Everything's kind of up in the air with them right now, and I've told both of them to be very patient. With this first signing day over, the smoke will kind of clear on some of them, and there'll be some things available. Also, there's some coaching staff changes. So you look at like Troy. Troy had interest in Chris, and they had a coaching staff change. So now they're trying to sort all that out because some of the coaches that were there may still be there, and some of them may not be there because they've just recently made a hire. So Coach Craddock, who is the recruiter for our area, he was offense coordinator at Troy. They're up in Birmingham now getting ready for the bowl game. So they're not really, recruiting's not really the issue. And some of those guys are in limbo about job and stuff like that. So just in this whole recruiting process with Camore, it's amazing all the work and all the time that they have to put into. So, just the coach from Memphis, he was telling me about all the travel that he had to have, and he had to leave. He came down 2 weeks ago and was visiting with Camore, and he had to leave and fly to Maine to talk to somebody. And I was like, that's crazy. He's like, yeah, and I got to be back the next day for bowl practice.
Wow. So what's next for Camore?
I think signing and getting all that taken care of takes a load of pressure off of him, and I think the next thing for him is to be a senior in high school and to enjoy this part of it.
Have a little fun, right?
Yeah, have a little fun. He's playing basketball, and they're playing really well right now. So just have fun. Just finish out the next 5 months before all of this becomes a reality.
Yeah.
And when and him and I have had that conversation, when it becomes a reality, it's going to be tough. It's going to be, the expectations are going to be very, very high at the collegiate level, and those guys are going to expect you to retain a lot of information.
There's a lot of Camore Harrises at the next level.
Right. There's a lot of guys that are as athletic as him, and he's got to do something that's going to stand out to catch the coach's eyes. I think his work ethic is going to be something that will help him through that. His commitment in the weight room will help him through that. So the sky's the limit for him.
So when is the last time we've had someone to sign on this level?
Man,
It's been a few days, hasn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. It's been a long, long time. So, and we've had a couple guys sign in the 6 years I've been here, but none at this level. So it sets the mark, and it's again it's people that have been able to go through the past couple years and see it and be a part of it. This is a special kind of a special
exciting
group.
time for the school, you know, the students and the all those are a part of B.B. Calmer High School.
Yeah, definitely. And it yesterday yesterday there was former players that came back, and the current guys that were there, and some of the younger guys that were there. So it kind of it kind of all falls into place. So very, very cool to see those guys there, and even during the playoff run and during the season, after the games, there's former players down by the locker room talking to our guys and visiting with us and stuff like that. So and to me, that's what it's all about. And that's one of my goals. Just being here is we want to build that camaraderie. We want to build that relationship.
Been here 6 years, Coach.
6 years. Yep, 6 years, and it's been, from where we were 6 years ago to where we are now, a lot different. And it's just a matter of putting in work and time. And I've said it numerous times, wanting to be here. I think that's key. Is we want to be here and enjoy being here. So. I've heard a lot over the past couple weeks about, oh my gosh, what are we going to 3A? What are we going to do? And people freaking out about that. But we're going to keep doing what we do. Yeah. We're going to go to work and
just
prepare.
Different faces.
Yeah, just different faces and.
Realignment happened this week as well, and you started talking about this mid-season about the possibility, and it did happen this week.
Yeah, it did, and I was not shocked. A couple of new faces, Chillsburg and Dayville, we've played before. Randolph County, we've played. Lee Scott and Glenwood are coming over from AISA to AHSA, and then Beulah down in Lee County area. Biggest thing about our region is the travel.
Yeah.
I think that's
money.
That's the part that's going to be tough. Is the travel aspect of it. Just based on that, next year we'll go to Randolph County and to Lee Scott. Glenwood and Beulah come to us, and Dadeville comes to us. Last year we played at Childersburg in a non-region game. This year we'll go back to Childersburg, and that's just the way the scheduling worked out.
Is Lee Scott Academy and Glenwood, have they been private schools or what?
Yeah, so they've been private. They've been Alabama independent schools, AISA schools. They actually played each other for their state championship last year with Lee Scott winning. So Buster Daniels, the head coach at Lee Scott, I've known him for quite some time.
Is there any differences basically between the two divisions?
Not really. I mean, I think there's a few differences as far as enrollment and things like that. Lee Scott is in that Auburn area, so they're getting kids that aren't at Auburn, maybe some kids that aren't at Opelika, and then Glenwood is down at Smith Station, so they've got kids from that Smith Station area, from the Central Phoenix City area, the Russell County area, so they're able to kind of have different types of kids there. So
you're stepping up, been 2A for several years. You're stepping up to 3A. Differences between 2 and 3A?
It's all based on enrollment is what it's based on. And we're a lower third 3A school. And I looked at the enrollment of the other schools in our region, and basically from the smallest 3A to the largest 3A is about a 75 kid difference, which that sounds like a lot, but that's not a lot if you start looking at 7A. If you look at 7A, the largest 7A to the smallest 7A, there's about 1,000 kid difference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that's a big difference.
Yeah, so that's a huge difference. So, our enrollment is up. And the cutoff was lower than it was, so there's a lot of numbers involved. There's a lot of like with the AISA schools, they're multiplied differently than private schools are multiplied differently than public schools. So their enrollment is counted a little bit more, and that's what bumped Lee Scott and Glenwood into 3A was that multiplier. So. But not a ton of difference. I think, generally in 3A there was a lot of private schools. A lot of those private schools bumped up because there is a competition deal as well. Kind of like Montgomery Catholic, they played in the semifinals 2 years ago. They played for the state championship this year. So that success multiplier bumped them from 4A to 5A.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with their enrollment. It just had to do with their success. So. They can kind of bounce around and do different things. If you look in volleyball, Bayside Academy has won numerous volleyball state championships. Well, they were playing volleyball at a 5A level for the past couple of years.
Fife moved up to 3A as well.
Yeah, Fife moved up, and Coach Benefield and I had that conversation. We talked about that, and it's going to be interesting to see. Honestly, 2A is going to be interesting to see without Fife in the north. And I think it opens up some things on both sides of the state. So, from a 2A standpoint, I think a lot of teams that we've seen in the past will have a chance to be in the mix again.
Yeah. So, there's a little game that we play with our grandkids. The name of the game is Had You Rather? Well, had you rather be 2A or 3A?
I think so. Based on the regional alignment, Thorsby went to 3A, and if you look at the 2A regions, all right, Vincent and Isabella are in the same region still, but they have to go to Tuscaloosa Academy and Aliceville.
It's a long haul, Aliceville.
That's in their region. So if we ended up getting put in that region, I'd rather be in 3A. You know, if we could keep the same region we had, I'd rather be in 2A. So if you're looking at South region, Highland Home and Reeltown got split up, so they're not in the same region
So
anymore.
how does it affect your scheduling? It has to play a major role in this thing.
So that's the tough part. When you're looking at your region, so you get region alignment out, and before region alignment, coaches are always like we're on the phone constantly. So we're looking for either a week 0, week 1, a week 10, or a week 5, because those are specified non-region weeks. And then you think about gate, because you got to have money. So you want to play teams that you can have a gate, you know, bring a gate in or get a gate from. So you start calling people and things like that. Well, with the success we've had recently, you know, we're having a hard time finding teams to play. So, and then they throw out the reclassification and you're in a 7-team region. So now you got to find another non-region game in the middle of the season based on your draw. So our region meeting was yesterday. So as of right now, I'm looking for a week 3 game, because right now we don't have a game week 3 because that's our bye week in region play. So you got to find another team in the state that has a week 3 bye.
It's not that easy.
No, it's not that easy. And then, so our non-region, well, I'll talk about this real quick. Our non-region, week 0 is Wadley. Okay, Wadley's been a really strong 1A. Coach Motley, I talked to him a lot over the past couple seasons. He reached out, and I was like, you know, some other teams I had lined up had backed out on me, so we're going to play Wadley week 0 here. Week 1, and then you're going back to Gates. Week 1, we'll go to Vincent. So Vincent will they'll host this year in 24, and then we'll host in 25. So that'll give both of us a gate early in the season, and then I'll have Wadley 0.
You got some history with Vincent.
Right, we have some history with Vincent, and I know Coach Weatherford, and it's just a good matchup. It makes sense too, based on mileage, because again, you know, as coaches, we got to do what makes sense sometimes, and we don't always do that. So, so it makes sense as far as mileage. And then week 5, because I did have a hard time finding games, week 5 we'll go to Piedmont. So we'll play at Piedmont week 5 in 24, and then they'll come to us in 25. So those are non-regions. I've got 3 or 10 open. I'm trying really hard to keep 10 open. And that's what I like to do. Alabama Football Scoop puts on, you know, on Twitter or X or whatever it is now. So you can you can message them, and they'll put stuff out there for you. So last night I put that out there that we needed a week 3 game, and there's teams in Georgia that are messaging now. And as much as I would like to have a little border war, you got to look at who they are too. So like one of them is Bowden and one of them was Manchester. They just played each other in the state championship over there. So I don't know if we want to jump on that or not. But I've got a couple guys are having their region meeting today, and I hope to have a week 3 game by the end of the day.
Yeah, sounds good. Coach Adam Fossett, the head football coach and athletic director at BB Comer, and we talked about the football team, but as athletic director, you got to be sure of your travel. You got to be sure of the monies, and you're right now in the middle of basketball season.
Yeah, we're in the middle of basketball. Both our girls and boys have played early in the week. Both of them went to the Raglan tournament. And played. Both of them won that tournament, so they're playing pretty well. Our girls are they're a little more ahead of schedule than our guys. They've got a few more practices in than our guys do, just because of football season. But the girls are playing well. The guys are playing well, and so the guys won the Raglan tournament, and they're actually in a Gaston tournament now. So they played yesterday. They'll play today. If they win today, then they'll play for the whole thing tomorrow. So, and then they'll get the rest of the break off. But for people that I think people, you know, generally people are like, well, it's holidays, everything stops, and that's not the case. That's not the case in the coaching life and for us, because you know, if you're in season, like us being in basketball season, you can't take 2 weeks off and then come back and jump into area play and expect to be successful. So I think we have a good heavy load on the front end. They'll get a couple practices in after Christmas and shoot around and be ready to go.
You got a number of football players that are transitioning to basketball even now.
Yeah, so out of 12 varsity guys, I think 10 of them are football.
Mm-hmm.
So, and those 10 guys are our first game. We played like, let's see, whatever date the Christmas parade was the first game.
What, but a few days after football season.
And the guys voted like, you know, Coach Herbert asked the varsity guys, said, you know, do you want to reschedule this or do you want to play? They're like, we want to play. So that first game against Lincoln, we were still playing a little football. We had a lot of fouls that game, but, you know, we're getting our basketball legs under us and playing well and doing some good things. Chris Wilson has done a great job on the boards and just scoring points underneath and scoring points in the paint. And they're starting to understand basketball a little bit more. And I feel like this group can make a run. You know, I think in 2A and with the size we have and the ability we have, I think we can make a run and have some success down the road. So.
Is this football season, and we've had several good seasons, do you see that as a run, or do you think this is something that we can continue to build on?
I think we can continue to build on it. I think what we have to understand and what any parents or grandparents that are watching out there have to understand is when January hits and we go into off season, it's going to be a very, very entailed off season. Like we've got a lot of spots to fill, and we've got a lot of guys that have question marks over their head. Can they fill those spots? So we're going to have to hit the weight room hard. We're going to have to study a lot of film and figure a lot of things out, because we have some guys waiting in the wings that it's now like you can't wait in the shadows anymore. It's time to put your big boy pants on and go out there and be the guy. So so we're gonna have to do that. We've got some guys that can get it done. Obviously, you got some skilled guys coming back. You got Raylon Sims and Richard Weed that'll be back in the mix that can do it. Cam Gaddis can get it done in the backfield for us. And then, excuse me.
You lost a lot of linemen.
Yeah, lost a lot of linemen. So, but you got Caden Brown, Jacorian Borden that'll be back in that mix. Jacorian got some snaps there. And we've got some young guys that can get the job done, but we're gonna have to put their feet to the fire in the off season and put them in that weight room, and there's a lot of sweaty days ahead for us.
You know, normally speaking, January is not a real fun time for athletes to be in the weight room. You know, you're just coming off Christmas and New Year, and you're looking ahead to August, but there's a lot of time between now and August.
Yeah, there is, and that's that's going to be key too. And with us being a smaller school and playing multiple sports, that's one of the hardest parts that we have, because we've got to maximize the time that we have. So it's going to be a little bit of sacrifice and a little bit of give and take. 7th grade and 8th graders will be fine because I get them during a PE time. So those 7th grade and 8th grade guys, we can work on some stuff with them during that time. I have a strength and conditioning class at the end of the day, but there's still a few guys that, because of scheduling, they kind of fall through the cracks. So we got to get them taken care of too. But and then we, as a staff, we got to look at our puzzle pieces and say, hey, what works best for us? So we're looking at some changes to be made on the offensive side of the ball that will be more conducive to what will make us successful. And you've got to do that, and you've got to make sure that it meshes in with what your guys already know as well.
Before we go this morning, to clarify back to recruiting, and the early signing day was Wednesday, yesterday. But you're anticipating a couple of other guys to sign at some point, correct?
Yeah, I am. I think Chris Wilson and Devin Harvey will have a chance to sign. I think those guys will have an opportunity. And I've told both of them just to be patient right now, because there is a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of things going on, and both are garnering a lot of interest. So I think, in this case of hurry up, and they're going to get, they're going to sign the ones that they've offered for a while. And then pieces start falling and pieces start coming together. So
and they're playing basketball now too.
Yeah.
That's just almost a double whammy. You know.
Yeah, but that's in talking to these coaches. Like Chris. You talk to these football coaches and you say, look, he's playing 3 sports. He starts in June. He gets about a 2-week break at the end of May, and other than that, he goes. So. When he's concentrating on one sport, the sky's the limit, because that's all he's got to worry about. He literally goes from football to basketball to track.
Wow.
And he's pretty good in all of those. And I've even talking to smaller schools, I tell some of these smaller schools, if you guys allow it, you get a steal because he can play football and basketball for you. So it's an opportunity. For some school to get a steal, because one thing about him is he just wants to play.
You really believe that, don't you?
Oh, I do. Yeah, he's gonna be a steal for somebody. Somebody's gonna get a heck of an athlete. They're gonna get somebody that still hasn't reached their ceiling, and still has a lot of room for improvement. And a lot of room for gains.
Yeah.
So.
Coach, Merry Christmas to you and your family and your football and athletic program at BB Comer. And thanks for coming by, and we'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Adam Fossett, the head football coach and athletic director of BB Comer Tigers, our guest this morning. More Daybreak just ahead.